I made a video a few months ago where I shared fixes for 10 of the most frustrating iPhone problems, and a lot of you watched it. So with that in mind, I thought I'd share fixes for 10 more extremely irritating iPhone issues. Stick with me until the end of this video if you've ever had something happen on your iPhone that's driven you nuts, because you never know, I might be about to show you a way to fix it. Okay, let's get into it. Let's be real, how many times have you tried to type out that popular 4-letter swear word that starts with the letter F, only to have your iPhone swap it out for a type of bird? My point is, there are times when you'll go to type something and your phone will assume you mean something else and automatically swap that word out for you. Problem is, you don't want to disable AutoCorrect in its entirety, because when you're typing, it's actually pretty useful. It would just be great if your iPhone could learn that for you personally, you want certain words spelling a certain way. Luckily for us, we can enable this. Go to Settings, then General, then Keyboard, and then Text Replacement. Tap the plus in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. In phrase, type the word exactly as you want it to be spelled on your iPhone. A handy tip here is if you're inputting a person's name, for example, you would type it out with the capital letter at the start. Then in Shortcut, type the word out. You don't have to include the capital letter here, just type it however you'd type it when you're working on your phone. Tap Save when you're done and the replacement has been created and will work each time you type that particular word out. You can now go ahead and do this for all of your favorite cuss words, just like I know you're going to. Whenever I make a video about typing on the iPhone, I always get a load of comments from people who complain that they have big hands or fat fingers or a combination of the two and find themselves forever pressing things by mistake. Well, if that sounds like you, I bet you've struggled with this next problem in the past. Your iPhone by default is configured so that if you're on a call and you tap the side button, that will end the call. For many people, this is a good feature, but for many others, it's a pain. So here's how you'd fix it. Go to Settings, then Accessibility, then Touch. Scroll down until you see Prevent Lock to End Call. Toggle this on. Now, when you're on a call, if you accidentally tap the side button, it will not end your call. Apple Pay, if you've not used it, is amazing. You browse around on a site, find what you want to buy, and then rather than having to input card or shipping info, you just tap on the Apple Pay logo and let your phone handle all of that info for you. Or if you're at a physical location, you use your phone to pay at the card machine without having to take your actual wallet out of your pocket. To use Apple Pay, if you have an iPhone like this one, you double tap the home button. But if you've got an iPhone with Face ID, you double tap the side button. And that double tap motion on the side of the phone can be really awkward, especially if you're holding the phone with one hand. There's a setting that you can change that gives you a bit more time between the presses and makes this easier. If you go to Settings, then Accessibility, and then Side button, you can change the speed from the default to either slow or slowest, depending on what works for you and your situation. Play around with it until you get it how you like it. By the way, if you prefer to have content like this in a written format, there's a PDF to accompany this video, and you can access it by joining my membership program, where for a small monthly fee, you'll get access to all video PDFs moving forward, plus the growing library of old ones. Just follow the link in the description of this video that says Become a Channel Member. There's a couple of settings in FaceTime which can be really irritating if you don't know about them. The first is one that's been around for a long time now, which I honestly had no idea about until recently, and that's that there's a setting automatically toggled on by default that uses augmented reality in your iPhone to slightly alter your eyes while you're on a FaceTime call, to make it look to the person at the other end of the call as if you're looking into their eyes. Keep in mind the camera on your iPhone is at the top of the phone, so the adjustment is only minor, it's just bringing your eye level down a bit, but it's still ultimately software that's altering your image, and you may not like that. Go to Settings, then FaceTime, scroll down, and toggle off eye contact. Also, another setting that I think you should be aware of is the one above, FaceTime Live Photos. Essentially, if both you and the person at the other end of the call have this one enabled, you get this little white button show on screen while you're on a call. Tap that, and the screen of the other person will flash because you capture a live photo of them that's then stored on your phone. Now, when this feature first launched, my wife and I would try and use this to capture photos of each other looking as bad as we could because, bans. But now that the novelty is worn off, I actually think it's a pretty awful invasion of privacy if someone does this to you. With that in mind, all you have to do to make it so that this won't happen to you is disable this feature. If you've ever picked up your iPhone in the middle of the night expecting it to be fully charged and noticed that the charge has stopped at 80%, you might be wondering what's happened. Your iPhone isn't broken. This is actually a feature called optimized battery charging. Essentially, what happens is your iPhone is configured to learn from the way in which you charge your device. And when it knows that you're most likely putting your iPhone down for a long charge, overnight for example, it will charge the phone in a more controlled manner. To begin with, your phone will fast charge, but then hold at 80%. And when it gets close to the time that you're likely to wake up for the day and want to use your phone, the phone will finish off the remaining charge at a much slower rate. It does this for a couple of reasons. Firstly, it's more likely that when you pick up your phone will be fully charged when this setting is enabled, rather than your phone reaching 100% charge, the charge being disabled, and then your phone losing some charge in the meantime. More importantly, it reduces wear on the battery, helping to increase its chemical health. My recommendation to you is actually to leave this feature enabled, but if you don't want to, you do have the option to disable it. Head to Settings, then Battery Health and Charging. If you want to make use of the feature, ensure that Optimized Battery Charging is enabled. Turn it off if you don't want it on. My reason for saying you should leave it switched on is because I honestly think it works. I charge my phone overnight, every night, despite so many people telling me that I shouldn't. I use it throughout the day, charge it every now and then when I need to. This is a 6-month-old iPhone 14 Pro with 100% battery health. My 18-month-old iPhone 13 Pro still has 92% battery health. Not as good, of course, but still good in my opinion. It's up to you, of course, but that's what you need to know. By the way, if you're enjoying the content here, why not consider signing up to my newsletter, The Proper Weekly? I include some tech news from the week, a behind the scenes of what's happening here on the channel, as well as a tip for an item in the Apple ecosystem. The newsletter goes out each Friday, it's free to join, and I'll include a sign-up link in the description of this video. A tip that I've mentioned loads here on the channel is using your spacebar as a trackpad to make it easier to move your cursor around a passage of text. If you've not seen this tip in action, you just press and hold on the spacebar and then move your finger or thumb around the screen, which in turn moves your cursor around. But some people still find this a bit fiddly, as you're having to move your finger around on the screen separately from the cursor itself. Thankfully, there's another option for you. If you just tap and hold where you want the cursor to land on the screen, you can then move your finger around and the cursor will move with your finger. It's just as accurate, and of course, because you're doing this where you want the cursor to land, it's easier to control. Also, just let me take this opportunity to remind you of the different ways in which you can select text on your iPhone. Tap once to drop your cursor on the screen, somewhere in the text. Double tap on a word to select that word. Triple tap to select a specific passage of text. There's a couple of frustrations related to notifications that I hear iPhone owners talking about all the time. The first is that updates to iOS in the past might have changed the way that your notifications appear on screen. Apple seem to be constantly tweaking the way that notifications display, so it is a good idea to check how yours are showing and change them if you need to. Go to Settings, then Notifications. Up here at the top, where it says Display As, you can choose between a count, where it displays the total number of notifications at the bottom of the screen, a stack, where a stack is shown at the bottom of the screen and tapping on it will expand it out, or a list, where you can see all of the notifications. The other frustration is when you've got your iPhone by your bed at night and a silent alert comes through, but it activates your phone screen, lighting up the room in the process. There's two ways you can deal with this. The way I'd recommend you deal with it is to make use of your iPhone's sleep mode. If you open the Health app and set up sleep, you can set a schedule for when your iPhone should go into a sleep mode each night. For example, mine comes on at 10:30 p.m. and is then on until 7 a.m. And during that time, my iPhone is essentially in a Do Not Disturb mode. Alternatively, you could go to Focus Modes and choose Do Not Disturb. You just have to remember to do this manually. The final option is to mute lock screen notifications for specific apps if you know that you've got a specific offender that always wakes you up. So if I go into Settings, then Notifications, and then tap on a specific app, here where it says Alerts, I can disable lock screen. Notifications for this app will still show, but crucially, not when the iPhone is locked, and so won't light up the display at night. Your iPhone has a function called Featured Photos, and it's actually really nice. Depending on how you've got your phone set up, your phone may pull photos together into collections that you can view in the Photos app, or even show these collections to you on your iPhone's home screen. But obviously in life, there are going to be specific photos that we may not want to be displayed on our home screens, or photos of people or occasions that we perhaps don't want to have to delete, but don't want our iPhones to feature and regularly remind us of. Here's how you'd handle that. Here's a photo, and if I tap on the ellipsis in the upper right of the screen, you can see that down at the bottom, I've got the option to remove this specific photo from featured photos, or remove whoever is in the photo, featuring that person less. If you use Siri on your iPhone, there's a good chance that you use the trigger phrase, which I'll write on the screen now, to access it. Sometimes though, if you're maybe using an iPad, Mac, or HomePod that are all also listening out for this phrase, it can all get a bit confusing as to which device should respond to you. Your devices are pretty smart and will generally get it right, but there is a way that you can stop your phone from listening out for that key phrase without having to totally disable it. If you go to Settings, then Accessibility, then Siri, you can toggle off Always Listen for that Siri phrase that I won't say. With this toggled off, all you have to do is place your phone face down and it won't listen out for the phrase while it's face down. Also, another couple of frustrations with Siri is that it doesn't wait long enough for you to say your request, which you would fix by using this Siri pause time section at the top of this menu, and then it either speaks responses back too much or too little. And again, you'd use the spoken responses section down here to amend that. Blurry photos are going to happen from time to time, but if they're happening all the time for you, there's something not quite right about your phone, and you'll need to take some steps to figure out and fix the problem. Firstly, let's check some possible settings that could be causing the problem. Open Settings, then Camera, and scroll to the bottom of this page. Try toggling on or off, prioritize faster shooting, lens correction, and particularly macro control if you have a phone that this is compatible with. See if any of these help the issue. If none of these fix the problem, chances are it's a hardware issue that you're facing. Restart your device and check that any phone case that you're using isn't causing the problem. But honestly, the number one hardware issue that causes most people to have blurry photos is that their camera lenses are dirty and need a clean. Think about it, your fingers probably touch the lenses quite often, so that means that grease from your fingers, maybe skin cream or any other substance is getting wiped on the lenses quite frequently, and unless you're cleaning the lenses on a regular basis, that can really build up. Use a microfiber cloth, and whilst you don't need to use special cleaning substances, I would recommend Whoosh if you're going to use one. It's apparently the same stuff that they use in Apple stores, and it's very, very good. So there you go, 10 frustrating iPhone issues and how to fix them. What do you think? Any other fixes that should have been included in this list? Drop me a comment and let me know. And as ever, if you found this video useful, do please consider leaving me a like and subscribing to my channel for more content like this in the future. See you on the next video.